Yes, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that means you're from Paraguay,
yes.
but you were not going from Paraguay straight to Australia. So what was like kind of the roadmap regarding traveling?
So I came from a very conventional family. It's not like they're travelers. Also very conservative in the best way possible of the word.
Yeah,
I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but very like um, study, you work, you get
school, finish
married, buy the
school, work.
house, all that, and I grew up with that. And
Yeah,
actually, I
yeah.
didn't grow up with anyone that was like traveling. So I don't know. Yeah, my parents sent me to this exchange when I was 18
That's
to
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like okay
Where?
to Park City, Utah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, Utah in the US, and to do ski seasons.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So you already knew how to ski?
yes,
Is there ski in Paraguay?
no, there's not.
What the heck?
But you have Argentina and Chile.
Ah, so you were going before already skiing
I
and
went
then.
once. I wouldn't. Yeah, I didn't know how to ski. I wouldn't say I knew how to ski. So
So the exchange was already regarding skiing that you would work there or that you.
I was working in the restaurant of this resort,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I have the ski pass for free, and it was a beautiful, amazing
Easy, of
resort.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was
obviously.
like, and that trip kind of like blow my mind. Like for a 18-year-old just growing up with, the context, Catholic family, uh, Catholic school, all girls. Yeah, but I don't know. I was in a bubble in Paraguay. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
bad, but just
Yes, yeah, yeah.
just the context, and for me, it was an explosion of
World. What the
yeah.
heck is going on around the world?
Also, like this is not the best, but South America has this thing with women. Not now, but 10 years ago, it was a little bit more stronger. And how I grew up in the 2000s with that mentality of how women supposed to behave and what they're supposed to do and married very young and all this. And Paraguay is like very.
Ah, yeah.
It used to be. Now it's changing more, but
Yeah.
it used to be very like I don't want to say behind. I don't know. I don't have the word. But
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, but yeah, I get that then.
a
Okay.
little bit slow to adapt to like
Like
things.
some rules which
Yeah.
are maybe not normal now for us,
Yeah.
and they were more stronger than back in the days in
Stronger.
Paraguay. Yeah.
So and I guess the transition is from the 90s to 2000s, and now 2000, the last 5 years, or it's changed a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I started there, and it blew my mind just like how I was sharing a house with Argentinian girls, and they usually more open and everything, and they were like, I was like, oh, you can do this, and no one cares if you do this and you do that, and
We're in America now.
yeah, the society, no one cares what you do for a job, no one cares, like I don't know, I just grow out from school, so no one cares about how you did in school, nothing. I wasn't very good in school, in high school, that's why and then oh wow, and they're like, my roommates, they were super open, they were like going dates with guys and no one would say anything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is amazing, oh my god.
Crazy. What's going on here?
Imagine my little 18 years old brain, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I came back and was a big shock for me. I was like, oh my god, no, I want
After how long?
ah
Was it short?
I will
6 months, 1 year?
4 months,
Ah, 4 months. Yeah, got it.
and I have to go to uni.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my god, I'm going next year. So every year I started going, and it was super hard going back.
Yes,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what is this? Like, you guys know there's people doing this in
You
the other side
told
of the
your
world?
friends about that?
No, actually, it was very hard to connect with friends. I mean, I would say them, but they were like, I don't know, they were in their own
Yes,
bubble.
yeah, yeah.
And bubble, I don't mean it's bad. It's just
No, yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. In their own environment, like where you grew up, you
Yeah,
know, so they
and
didn't know.
it was actually very hard. So I started watching a lot of documentaries. I started watching a lot of like travel about movies. I was obsessed. I was like, Friday night, I'm not going out. I'm doing this, And I was like searching, also doing crazy searching about traveling, people who travel. I tried how I'm going to make this life happen. But then I have also uni for 3 years. And then I went back and it was amazing again. And then after that, I got obsessed with Hawaii. I don't know why.
With Hawaii?
Yeah, surfing Hawaii, because I was watching all these documentaries.
Yeah.
And they were like, usually ski and surf, they're all the same people, like doing all these things. And I got connected, and then
Yeah.
and then I was like, you know what? I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to live in Hawaii.
Easy.
No, not easy. But actually just came. I don't know. I kind of manifested in a way, I guess. But I was also like searching a lot. And then I study. So I didn't know what my dad was like also just, I didn't know. I graduated school. I don't know what I want to study. So they were like, put me hotel management. I'm like, sweet. This will make me travel. So, and then when I finish that career, I got the chance to choose a internship in the US.
Yeah.
And they were like, where do you like to go? Like, and I said, I would love to go to Hawaii. But they were like, okay, I don't know. And then I saw the option. I asked that thinking that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I just said, and then they give me the option to Hawaii. And I was like, okay, in Maui. And then I apply, and 3 interviews after, they gave me the work sponsor to work in the US.
Crazy.
And do an internship in the Sheraton in Hawaii. I was like,
What the fuck?
I was 21. And I was like, I was so young. Now I think I'm like, oh my God. And my dad is very like, everything that is like through uni educational.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's safe. They know what they're doing. Yeah.
No, they're like, okay, this is for your education. Thank you, Dad, by the way. And I was like, a year there, and then
1 year in Hawaii?
Yeah.
Mm.
And then
So you started surfing over there?
Yes, I started surfing there, and I was like even more blown away by the whole culture of surfing. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was like, okay. And then in Hawaii, I remember I said, Australia is my next step. But it didn't come quick, but I will go through there. Anyway, it's a long story. Are you sure you want to hear the whole story?
Easy,
okay,
yeah,
good.
of course.
Okay, and then I was like, how am I going to make it happen? Anyway, I saved tons of money because my dad was like, okay, I'm going to pay for the program if you pay me back in the end. I was like,
What program?
so
in
this
Australia?
Sponsor, no, in Hawaii.
In
so
Hawaii,
this
this one's
sponsor
the-
thing
yeah.
was a program also,
Mhm.
internship program. I was like, okay. I saved double. I worked so much. And then when I went back to Paraguay. He was like, if you do your thesis by this date, you have that money. I was like, oh my God.
Great
Because-
offer.
Yeah. And I was like, boom, I need to do my thesis. Anyway, I did my thesis. I got the money. So I have double now because I saved double because I thought I was going to pay him. And then I was doing little trips to South America, but still I was having this mentality of having the job in Paraguay. Or also that what I was choosing was wrong in a way. I was with this chip in my head. Like I wanted that life, but I was like, no, I need to like settle down, like pressure myself so much. So also like looking for jobs in Paraguay, then
yeah.
actually got a job in Paraguay, but in between I was always going to Peru, to Chile, doing little trips around South America.
So it faded a little bit away, like the idea of going to Australia or going back to Hawaii.
It faded a little
little
bit. I faded a little bit, and I was like, oh, I need, because everyone around me was telling me it was wrong.
Yeah,
And
of
it
course.
was
You're in the environment again, where it's like
Yeah.
that, right?
And it was very confusing when I went back to Paraguay from Hawaii. I was 23, 24. And I was like, okay, now I need to settle. It's so much pressure, at least in my country sometimes. I think it's everywhere. When you get 25, 24, okay, get an office job, do this, do that. And it's like, actually, we are only 20. You're so young still, but there's this rule, unspoken rule.
Yeah.
Oh, everyone, or at least where I grew up. So everyone's just having big jobs. And I was like,
Yes.
I don't know if I want to do this.
Mm.
Anyway, I got a job in PR marketing area
Paraguay.
in Paraguay.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was working. I was a little bit in, how do you say this? Automatic. I was like, okay,
Autopilot, yeah.
But I was always daydreaming. I was also like at one point I was saying, I didn't have anything planned about Australia, but I was saying to my friends, I'm going there next year. but I didn't search anything. I was kind of like manifesting, I know that word is polemic, but I was
Thinking about that
think
already.
about it like
Yeah.
so much. This is going to happen to me somehow. Anyway, I was working. I also have a partner back home, everything. And then I remember when I quit my job, and I told to my boss, I just want to wake up and surf. I don't think this is for me. I need the ocean. And then, anyway, I quit the job, and then I fall again into the thought, and I got another marketing job.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. And that marketing job, I wasn't connecting. I was very sad. I remember in the end, of course, I didn't do a good job because because I was sad.
Mm.
At one point, my parents have a big accident, a car accident. They're fine, but it was pretty big and shocking for me. And then I was searching about Australia already, like crazy. How I'm going to do this? And then at one point in my job, they fired me.
My God, they fired
I mean,
you.
I'm laughing now, but it wasn't.
Yeah, because
fun.
you were not happy, you were doing shitty work.
I was. Sorry. But they fired me. For me, it was like, okay,
It's a sign.
I'm a loser. No, I'm
Listen.
a loser. This is, oh my God. What I'm
This way you were thinking? Shit.
Yeah, I was like, but I didn't do anything about Australia yet, but I was searching. I was like, fuck, I'm a loser. I'm a loser. I don't worth anything. It's so like confronting to get fired. But I was so young. Now I'm thinking about, of course. I mean, dude, you were 25,
Yes,
24,
damn.
25, 24. You were 24, like so much pressure. Now I can see that in the past.
Yeah.
But no, at the time
Always.
was like, I'm a loser. Anyway.
The world is over.
Yeah, the
That's
world is
it.
over.
Nobody gonna take me anymore.
And it was a trauma. I cannot live like. Anyway, and then I was like, the next day, when you fire me, you get a redundance. And they give you a really good redundance. And I was like, okay, sweet.
Okay.
I'm going to Australia. And next day, I got that and I started moving everything to go to Australia. I didn't know anyone that got to Australia from my country. Yes, through an, how do you say this, scholarship?
Mm.
But I wasn't going to do that. I
No.
didn't want to also study,
Yeah.
commit to
Just
that.
by yourself.
So I'm like, I start searching. Anyway, I went to study, but it wasn't like a master or something. It was like a course.
What, in Australia?
Yeah.
You went to study in Australia?
Because Paraguayans only can get student visa.
Ah, okay, I see. Yeah.
And then I started moving everything. This is going to happen. I already saved money, everything. Well, the redundance was very good. I'm like, I sold my car. I'm going to do this. And after 2 months, I left. And they gave me the visa to Australia. I couldn't believe it because the guy who was the agency, they were like, it could be hard because your country is a risk. I don't know how they say it, but it's not risk, but it's not as strong.
Passport.
The passport.
Yeah.
So I never did your country, but let's give it a go. I was like, sweet. And they gave me a visa. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
Crazy, huh?
And I went there and I was so young. Now I can see back. I'm like, I want to hug myself.
Yeah, good
I
that you
didn't
did it.
understand anything. And I went with such like, I got this. Because
Yeah.
I live in the Utah and I live in Hawaii. This is going to be easy peasy. And
Yeah.
COVID happened in the middle. And it just slapped my face.
How long is the student visa?
So that visa was my plan was to only go 10 months. And
Your plan was 10 months only.
I was going to move to Europe after.
Mm.
And to Spain. And COVID happened.
And then you were stuck in Australia.
Stuck. Then it was a good thing. But yeah.
Like, how long you were in Australia already when that happened, when you were kind of stuck there? Already more than like half year or something?
When COVID happened?
Yeah.
No, 3 months.
3 months in
was-
Australia and then COVID happened.
I went in the end of 2019.
Mm.
And February, March was
Yeah.
COVID. And
So then you were just staying there.
I was like, okay.
You got the visa renewed.
I got the
right?
visa
That
renewed.
was how it was?
And with the whole COVID, it was it was a little bit more. They were more flexible
Mm.
also. So I extended my visa for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, I extended again. But I didn't plan anything. I was like, okay, I'm just going to stay. Australia kind of become like, well, COVID was traumatic for everyone. So Australia become like a home that hugs me during that period.
Where have you been then during that time? What city?
I been Gold Coast.
You were studying during that time? No, you were also kind of traveling
I was
there.
studying. The first 2 years I studied serious.
Yeah.
And then something happened to me. I got I got surgery with something, and then I stopped studying. I got really sick, and I stopped. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to stop doing. And then Australia have a COVID visa, so you can stay to help the economy, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I applied for that visa, and now that visa, it all was finished. I met my partner.
You made your what?
My partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was feeling this frustration with I love my life there, but I feeling this frustration in Australia that I couldn't do my professional work, that like creative photography. It's a very expensive place to live. You always have to pay visas, and I was always getting jobs I didn't love, like babysitting, working in a store. So I'm like, I just need to get out of here, and then hopefully I will go back soon again. But yeah, and then
then you decided to leave Australia, like at least to go out of it, to maybe travel a little bit,
yeah,
or find another, or you were actually deciding to find another place to stay.
No, was to travel. Well, what to see what happens.
Yeah.
I really needed to explore this photography thing that was in my whole story I told you was always on the side. And then I coming here, it wasn't easy. It was like, okay, I'm just going to try this, but I don't know, I was coming with a lot of insecurities and believing in my love for photography, but I'm like, it's super competitive, super hard sometimes. Well, super hard. I don't want to say as a negative, but it's complicated.
Yeah.
Starting from zero. And I save a lot of money, and I embark on this journey to it. And it was very like opening. Was, moving to a new place, especially when you're like older and you are less, I wouldn't say, to changes, you're a little bit more, you want your own comfort, you're not tolerate many things when you're younger. So to start this trip again was very okay.
But you were coming then to Australia, to Indonesia, straight away after
straight
Australia?
Away. I went to a place called Batu Caras. And then I love it.
Beautiful place, by the way.
Beautiful. It's very like very slow living.
Oh yeah.
Which I like it. But coming from Australia, working 40 hours a week to go to Batu Caras, and when there is no waves, there's nothing to do. It was super like shocking.
Just surfing.
But there is no waves sometimes.
There's also a season, huh?
Seasons, and also like it needs the really correct swell to get the
swell direction.
Yeah, the swell direction have to be very specific.
Yeah?
It's not that super exposed because it goes anyway. If you see the map, it goes a little bit like that.
Yes, yeah.
I understand. And then there's 2 weeks with no surf, and I was going myself crazy. But I already booked the accommodation anyway. And then I was like, okay, I need to like do my website, do everything. But it's a lot of personal development, not only like
always, huh?
just doing the work and that's it. You have to be, well, for me, I kind of have to be connected with myself to do my creative thing. So it wasn't coming. It was super confronting. I have to journal a lot. I have to look at because 5 years in Australia was beautiful, also very moving. COVID, and then I got this sickness, and then changes, and then visas, very high intensity for 5 years.
Yeah.
Coming to slow down, it was like, oh my God.
Total different environment.
Very different. And
like nothing's moving.
nothing's moving, and also you don't understand what's going on in your head. So you actually, well, I do a lot of therapy for many years, so I'm like, I would say I'm not scared to look at myself and analyze. Scared is not the word, but I'm not. I have the
Afraid.
capacity. Yeah, I have the capacity to do it, even though it was super hard and I have to like. And yeah, when I moved to this area, everything started to flow. I met the right people. I was feeling drawn for Indonesia for a while. I was like something there for me, just trusting an intuition I had. It was something for me, and it was. You know, I met amazing people here, amazing connections. I grew up creatively and my photography more than I did in the last 5 years in Australia. Like just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
And it's very overwhelming in a nice way. It's like, whoa, it's all.
Why do you think? Why is that?
I think I'm very spiritual at the moment, so I think
Yeah,
it's
go
just
on.
coming like from. I was very blocked in Australia. For sure, I needed to go out of there to see everything from perspective. At the time, I couldn't see it. I was like, why? Always wondering, like getting frustrated. My creative flow wasn't there, and for 5 years, I was fighting with that in a way. And then I came here, and just like, first of all, everyone is in the same journey, I would say. Everyone's very open also, and they understand how it is to move from, especially I'm sure many people come from the same context I came. So it happened, I was very blocked creatively, also with myself, also healing, a lot of healing with my past in Paraguay. It's not bad, but you know, coming from that context can be very confusing for
To maybe to double to how do you call it in English? To ask yourself, second guess yourself.
all the
Maybe
time.
you know, maybe it's not the right thing. Maybe actually I should go home or should do the normal thing. You know,
Yeah.
because it's always so hard. There are always problems, right?
Yeah.
And then second guessing, it's a big thing, no?
Yeah, well, I know it's a little bit cliche, everything I'm going to say, getting out of the comfort zone, you will find a lot of, it's super uncomfortable. And you really have to like, okay,
you will
trust.
find the answers maybe
Yeah.
way more out of the comfort zone, right?
Yes, you will, but also you have to be like, okay, trust that what you want. Trust that this is, if you're having this call of like, do it in your body, you feel like you have to get out of where you're from and start this remote life, digital nomad if you want, or this living paradise, I would say. It'll be uncomfortable, especially if you come from a city or something.
Always.
Uncomfortable, and you will face a new version of yourself, and then it'll be, oh, I should be doing this, and then but your new version wants something else. So it's like, and then you also have your family opinions. Well, at least for me that happened. Now my parents support me, and they're super happy with me, and they're super proud. But it was like, I didn't have to I have to go against them for for many years, for 5 years.
Yeah.
My dad always used, what are you doing there?
When are you coming back? You know, don't risk too much.
No,
we are all here.
Yeah, and then just it was very how do you say this? I speak Spanish, so a fight.
Maybe say in Spanish.
Lucha. I don't
Luchas,
know.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
with myself, they don't have my parents, my family don't. It's not their fault. They grew up the way they grew up, and
of course,
it's just with myself and what I wanted, just trusting what I really wanted. And now, after 10 years, I would say, oh my God, I think I'm going to made it happen, because I was traveling while also doing these jobs that didn't fulfill me. So now after 10 years, also not for everyone it's 10 years. It can be a year for someone, but for me it was 10 years. It was super.
But it's the journey, no?
It's the journey.
Yeah, of course, you know. I think it's just so much stuff in between where you start and where you're gonna maybe arrive. And if you
Yes.
cannot appreciate that, or you don't really like maybe the things you do as an expert, let's say, then it's going to be really, really hard,
Yeah.
On the way, it's going to be shitty things happening for sure.
Yeah.
I
Always.
always say you pick your problems,
Yeah.
You can decide which problems to pick, but they're going to be problems anyways.
Yeah.
100%, no doubt. Shitty things going to happen. Problems going to be there, so you can pick them.
What I learned recently, after many years,
Okay, listen.
it's like it's also the problem how you deal with the problem. Like you also can choose your problems, but also how you deal with them. You will get presented the problem. I used to, not long time ago, I used to like freak out, and then get so many emotions and just like the end of the world. And I can't believe I just learned this recently, because something big happened, and I was like, okay, if I continue to do this, like just exploding if any problem and just thinking, yeah, as a victim, I would say maybe it's a little bit harsh on myself, but sometimes I'm like, oh, why is this happening? Oh my god, I'm doing everything good, like blah blah blah. And then it's like, okay, I just need to change the mindset and saying my beautiful friend Nicole and my boyfriend Will, and they will always say to me, just you need this to happen, otherwise this is in your story, just accept it and just think that everything will come out all right because of this.
What do you mean? When a problem happens,
Yeah,
then this is
something
part of your
good,
story already. You cannot change it because it already happened.
and something good will happen. And then when they give me that advice, I'll be like, ugh,
Again,
no, how this can be good? It's not good. Blah, blah, blah.
I need to freak out.
I wouldn't say it's super childish. Now I see it back. I'm like, oh my god, Maria, you've been like that for 28 years.
Yeah.
Now I just have to. It's a very like overused word, but surrender. Just like,
So how do you react now when some...
I would say the other day, for example, something very small. I'm very like, I don't know if catastrophic in my brain sometimes. So for example, something bad happened and I like, okay, if this happened bad, this thing will happen after. And I just think 10 episodes of bad situations happening. I'm dealing with therapy.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
But I was like, I make it super like bad.
Yeah.
And anyway, I was in the airplane the other day. I did a visa run and I forgot something was happening. I remember I was like, but I was in the plane. I couldn't control anything.
Yes,
And what
exactly.
I did is like, okay, I just talk to myself a lot now. I'm like, okay, Maria, just breathe. You cannot do anything now. Just relax. It will be all right. So just don't stress right now.
Yeah.
And I didn't have internet. I was already like going to
On the edge.
yeah, going to the old patterns I used to have, like, and just being in a bad mood, and all the people around me will feel my bad mood. And it's like, just, so I start breathing. Actually, when someone tells you just breathe, and it's so annoying, that recommendation, it's like, oh, don't tell me what to breathe right now.
I'm breathing already.
And then it's like, no, you actually just have to. It took me so many, let's do it now. It took me so many, it took me like my whole life to understand this. And it's, they say for a reason, and now it sounds cliche with all this movement going on, but it's work. It works. So just breathe when you're having a problem.
Yes.
And then talk to yourself. I was like, Maria, you're not going to fix anything now. You're going to make everyone around you nervous, or yourself also. And you're not going to fix anything now. I was in the plane. Okay. It was something small, but just an example how...
Yes, yeah, I totally get it.
Also, I got unexpected news the other day with my visa in Australia. It wasn't the best, and I was like so defeated. And I was like, for some reason, my body reacts different. And I'm like, okay, this is good. And actually, because of that happened, so many things came up here where I live. People, connections, work, job, creative, meeting someone super expansive, meeting you. I don't know, because if that visa thing happened, I wouldn't be in Australia already.
Yeah.
But because I have to overstay here, amazing things happen. I don't know, it's crazy for me. It's give me chills just because whatever what it happens, everything since I moved out of Australia, it's been super magical. It's been hard. I cry a lot and I have to confront a lot of things, but
Yes, yeah,
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 but
yeah.
that's just how it is sometimes, no?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
really have to trust whatever God or the universe have for you, because it's really, when you start listening to that and yourself, it's really beautiful what happens.
Mm. But you, when you were moving from Australia now to Indonesia, you had like also fears that it didn't work out, or like
Of course.
you were hesitating to actually do it, to come over,
Of course. I was like,
because you were like kind of like, it's maybe not the comfort zone you were in Australia, maybe
no,
because you know everything. I'm 5 years here, so maybe I'm just gonna stay here because I don't know what's gonna happen there, you know.
Oh, yeah, I was very resistant to the change. It was very, I was like, what if everything, like I told you, I have this some train of bad thoughts that come, and I was like, wow, how I'm going to make this happen? Yeah, I trust my creative, or when I'm feeling my job, but I
But
don't
you
know.
don't know.
You don't know. And then when you do the jump and you cross the bridge, you met so many people that do it. Like they've been through that, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes you. I feel coming here make
Makes
brain
it
exercise.
possible,
Yeah,
no?
it's okay. This is possible.
Like people do it.
People do
Why
it,
can I not do it?
and then you get aha moment. I'm like, okay, just take your time and find your way, and you don't have to copy people, but it's like, okay, this person can live like this, I can live like this, and it's an expansion moment for you as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, Indonesia will carry a special place in my heart. It really, I thought, I thought I understood everything, and then I came to Indonesia, and then it's like, no, my
Understood
friend,
everything.
you don't understand nothing.
No.
Just wait.
Yes.
And again, I have to relearn so many things that I thought I had it figured out, and I didn't. And it probably will happen again with other situations. It's always like forever learning.
Yes, yeah.
But it's the first time in my life that I feel super aligned with everything.
Nice.
The people I'm meeting, I know it's very special.
Yeah, it's cool, huh?
And you also called me in a very illuminated period of my life. But it was hard. It's not easy. It's very confronting. But for me, listening to intuition and my body, the information that was landing, because it's for a reason you're getting the call. I would say
The what?
The call, like
Cold?
call, like
The call. Sorry.
the
Yeah,
call,
yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, you get a feeling. Okay,
There's signs. They're gonna be signs, you
they're
know.
going to be signs,
You
and
need to listen
you
sometimes.
really have to like see it and consider it, and then it doesn't have to happen right away, but if it's in motion in your head, and if you feel it and you see the sign,
And
it will happen.
you think about it.
You think about it, and of course you have to make it happen. It's not like I was just thinking about it.
Yes, but if there are some signs and you start thinking about
Yeah.
it, and you continue thinking about it, it becomes more real. I mean, literally everything you see here starts with a thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody
Yeah.
thought about, like, putting here some material, which is glass, together to hold liquid.
Yeah.
But that was a thought.
Yeah.
So everything starts with a thought.
Yes, and
But then, of course, you need to make it happen, But if you already can see it, it's much more likely, actually, that you're gonna do it. I don't know. When you were in Australia, what's the time frame of like you starting to think I'm gonna maybe try and get my ass over to Indonesia, and actually then doing it?
Yeah.
What are we talking? Are we talking like 1 month, or like, I'm gonna maybe go to Indonesia and next month you go?
6 months.
6 months.
6 months, and it was super, like, Australia is of course, Indo is a beautiful place, but Australia is very comfortable.
Yes, yeah.
Everything works, and it's beautiful beaches, and the job, you can find any job and you get money, and it's a very, I wouldn't say easy life, because I don't, of course, was hard. It's hard anyway, but it's a very comfortable life. And for me, coming here was like, I have to train I journal so much about it. I just talked to my therapy. He was I'm so scared. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just need to do it. Also, my visa in Australia, I couldn't pay a lot of money for another visa. I'm like, I don't know if my life it would be paying visas. And it's like it's a big amount of money, you know. So I'm like, okay, I just need to like. And then when I left to the trip, my flight, I remember I was like about to cry. I was like, couldn't believe this is happening to me. And if you think I travel at that time, I moved to many places already, and I did all that. But then same, I was cheating myself. So yeah, I was secondary, and it was 6 months of chaotic emotions. And also I was working full time, a very busy job. So I didn't have time any to process properly. So actually all the process came was in Batu Karat, a special place in my heart. I stayed there for a month. So in Batu Karat was a lot of processing that I'm going to make it happen here in Indonesia.
Maybe just to stop a moment, huh, and maybe think about like, okay, what the fuck happened the last years? Where do I want to go?
Yeah.
How can I make it happen?
Process.
Just to stop, right?
Yeah, to stop. And I really forced myself. And I remember I was with my partner, we booked this accommodation for a month. And I'm stuck here, there's no waves, this is shit. And then I was like, at one point, okay, I have two options. I live my life like this, just fucking complaining all the time, and what is this happening to me? All this is complaining about the waves. It will be something always.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. And then, or I take the problem with my two hands and do something about it. And even I was very resistant to do that. You know, actually, it's very complaining gives you dopamine. That's recently I learned. So
say that again.
Complaining
releases dopamine.
Yeah. So actually, give you a release of of I wouldn't say pleasure because it's not pleasant, but you release something that is.
It feels good in your body.
And then when I discovered that, okay,
it's me.
Okay, I need to do something about this. Now that I actually know that complaining is easier, of course.
Yeah.
It actually gives you dopamine to your brain.
And it's like, maybe also addictive, huh? So you continue because you get that dopamine. Yeah. So you want to complain maybe even more.
Well, scrolling is dopamine.
Same, yeah.
So it's like, as soon as I had that information.
Now it makes all sense.
Dude, it blew my mind. I was like, this is what's happening. Okay, so I just need to I grabbed the problem. I was very resistant, also very like, I don't want to do it, but I will do it. And it was the best thing that happened in my life, I would say. So it's very hard. It's also, grabbing the problem is also like a mirror. You just really have to look at yourself and be critical, not like harsh, but be like, okay, this is clearly not working. How I'm going to do this better? So that was my second option. I wouldn't say, there's two options, I take this one. No, it was super hard to make the other decision too. And I realized my last 5 years in Australia, I was living in that state, always like something missing, something not working, because it's not the visas. If it's the visas, it's this, it's that. And then when I came here, it's like, okay. As soon as I stop complaining, I'm not perfect, of course I complain sometimes, but as soon as I just grab the problem with my two hands and do something about it, things started moving. And actually I journal a lot, and I start writing all the things that happened to me in the last 3 months. And I do have a list of my
and you can also go back, and see like, look, I grabbed the problem, I didn't freak out, and it actually turned out that way, Oh, this one also crazy. And then you see a pattern, because some things are out of control, you cannot control. So why freak out in the first place? Because it's not in your hands,
Yeah.
So maybe let it go, or wait, or just gonna at least not freak out, right? I think that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, don't freak out, and just perspective. It's super hard. I'm not saying this as an easy thing. Just take yourself out of the thing and just look at it, and that you can do that. For me, it's working journaling a lot. Even I feel so resistant to journal, I just know this is something will come out. Information will land, and I will understand. And then journaling, meditation, also, how do you say, positive affirmations in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about the brain, how it works. And it's very handy. Like, for example, when we wake up, as soon as we wake up, our brain is on a beta state, or I don't know, sorry, correct me if I say wrong, but it's on a state that you can modify your beliefs.
Mm.
And I start doing that. I'm like, I deserve this life, or I deserve this, whatever is going on with me, or
Yeah.
my work is worthy, everything. And it really mind blowing how my life changed through that. It's hard. I'm not saying like it's easy, but it really, so many things in motion after that happened to me.
Mm.
And then I created my website, and then exploded. My whole life exploded in a good
Awesome.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm very happy, and I'm very happy I jumped. It was painful, but my boyfriend that saw my whole process, he was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how you flourish. You know, you are like," he said, I'm so proud of you." My other friend also was telling me how proud she is. So I'm like, also for me to throw flowers to myself and accept compliments is super hard.
But you don't compliment yourself sometimes, or you tap on your shoulder?
It's super hard for me. But now I'm saying all this. Now I just listen to me talking. I'm like, oh,
Crazy, no? What you did.
yeah. So I'm like, yeah,
Or like giving yourself in the mirror a high five.
yeah, you fucking made it. Or even hugging the other person, like the Maria from the past. And it's like, dude, don't worry, you're going to make it happen. So, and still, I'm talking today like this. I'm very happy. I have so much work to do.
Still to do. Yeah. No. This never
Yeah.
stops.
Never stops. And also, like I picture myself. I know I'm in the right path now,
Mm.
and it's super,
Yeah, that's
like,
good.
it's amazing how your
Good
body.
to know that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very special, very special. The move to Indo was the best. I thought was the worst thing that happened in my life. When I was being catastrophic with my thoughts, is the best thing that ever happened to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still in this thing, in this journey. So I'm like, every day is like, okay, what's going to happen?
But the journey never gonna stop. No?
No. But
Yeah.
But it's really every day now. It's like, okay, what's going to happen? Who I'm going to meet that is going to be super expansive, or who's going to contact me, or who I'm going to work with, or what I'm going to create today. And it's welcoming.
It's a good place to be in, no?
Yeah, I'm very proud of
I'm
myself.
happy for you. Sounds great.
I'm very proud. So
Nice. Because, yeah, many people, you know, exactly that's the problem, you know, because it's so, how do you say, so unknown, you know. You don't know what's behind door number 1. Should I decide to move, you know?
And just to clarify also to people listening, and I don't want them to like, oh, yeah, I moved to Indonesia and everything worked. I moved to many places before and it didn't
clearly.
work, you know? And just keep trying. If
Trial
it's not
and error.
Indonesia, it's going to be somewhere else. Just keep pushing if you feel like this lifestyle is for you, you know?
Keep exploring.
Exploring.
There was like a place. So what places you were actually thinking like, oh man, and you really felt it like, I don't belong here?
Australia was for a moment. Australia for sure was for a moment. I'm like, oh, I don't think I belong here. Like, what else I didn't belong?
I mean, of course, yeah. If it was Australian, then you wanted to move out. Yeah, that was clearly then the place, huh?
Well, I'm going to come back, and I know now I feel I belong, but it took me a while to. I moved many places in Australia also. So Byron Bay, the best, hugged me. I would say, you know,
Yeah.
you go to places and the place either hug you, or
Or you don't get hacked.
you get hacked by the place. So it's also like it's very you feel defeated when that happens, and you feel like, of course, it will affect you, and it will be hard to accept that. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to see something else. So I wouldn't say, come to Indonesia. It's the best thing that will happen to you in your life. This is what happened to me and for you. But it's, can be somewhere else. Can be Mexico, Siargao.
Of course,
you know.
yes,
yeah.
So usually there's like this roadmap you need to go through. Maybe it won't be the first country you're gonna go to where you're gonna stay. You're gonna feel maybe not really welcomed there, or whatever the reason, you know. There are always gonna be more steps involved in finding the place. Maybe if you really want to move abroad, it won't be straight away like, oh yeah, easy, I go there and that's it, you know.
Yeah,
it's not working like this.
No,
No.
but now now that I review my last 10 years with you, and I'm thinking, I'm like, thank God I keep pushing for this,
Mm.
because otherwise I wouldn't get to this state I am right now. Or I would have, but I don't know. I couldn't see myself. If I didn't push, I wouldn't imagine myself doing something else.
Yeah.
So I'm really like,
Easy. Yeah,
we
yeah. You need to
push.
do that sometimes,
And
you
you
know.
met amazing people, and in the period, maybe it's very lonely too sometimes, I would say. Very lonely, and very like, you have to be okay with, how do you say this word in English? Solicitude.
Solicited.
No. How do you say? Like
English is
lonely.
not my first language either.
Right.
But
With
solicit
loneliness.
loneliness.
You have
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
okay with that, and sometimes it's not easy to make friends, or people are leaving all the time, and it's like a
Mm.
transitional place for everyone. So you have to be okay. You have to be ready for that.
Yeah,
And it's something beautiful too.
I think now when you were actually talking about comfort zone sometimes, you know, now when I think about it, it's crazy because if you are actually moving abroad, you know, and it's not that you are staying there now, but let's say you just moved somewhere or you traveled, you are actually most likely like 80% the time you're not in a comfort zone, you know, because it's maybe new things, uncomfortable things, things you don't know, things you didn't expect, things you didn't know before, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you compare that actually to the life you have, maybe me in Germany or you in Paraguay, like we know a lot. We know the people there. We know how the days usually go. We know our neighborhood.
Yeah.
We know like when the bus passed by. You know, like we know these things. So most of the time it's actually comfort zone things, right?
Yeah.
So totally opposite to when you actually move somewhere
Yeah.
and you let's say stay somewhere for like a month even, you know, like every day they're gonna be new things, and maybe most of them they may be not comfortable, you know.
Yeah, and not every country is the same. The systems. Well, I'm from South America, so I'm very used to the system. Don't work properly. So here in everything's more slow. And I would say Asia slow. You have to Asia, and Asia manage your time. You don't manage Asia stuff.
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah.
So Indonesia. So I would say, just this is going to happen, or just like timings here, or the
Appointments, timing. Like funny that you actually bring it up. You know what happened yesterday? So yesterday I had an appointment, you know, to sign some documents, and the appointment was at 10.
Yeah.
Okay? So first, you know what when they arrived? 11:30, you know. So this was the first thing. Okay. So then there was some documents, and the communication before usually was so clear what should be in the document. Like 50% of what should be in the document was not inside. So we were sitting together for
Classic.
30 minutes talking, and then understanding that it's completely wrong, the document. Okay, you know, you need to accept it, right? Because there's no way you're going to freak out, because there's no point in it, you know? So, oh, that's also interesting that you need to become a master of acceptance here in Indonesia, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, then the document we need to change. Yeah, the guy is going now and comes back in 30 minutes, so we can just wait here. And I said, no way, you know. Maybe you just go and then, you know, tell us when it's finished, you know.
Yeah.
So then they wrote after 1 hour message, okay, finish, you know. And then we went there, document not finished, not ready. Still problems, you know. And, you know, then we sit again there 30
Oh my
minutes.
god, how long it took?
Man, like in total, it's 3-4 hours from that day. Totally wasted, you know.
Wasted,
And
but
it's
for
like-
them it's like,
No, it's
This-
okay.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Ned. And then I was asking someone, and you know how they say inshallah? Like, so if you do appointments here and you say, like, tomorrow, 2 o'clock, it's okay. They're gonna tell you sometimes, inshallah, you know, like maybe or maybe not, if God wants.
yeah.
So you cannot blame then the people because it's not in their hand.
No.
No,
No.
because God didn't want that he's showing up at 2.
Yeah.
You know, so this is like kind of like how it works, right?
Yeah, how it works. With
You need to
everything.
accept it. It's okay. I understand. In Germany, it's not like this, but still, it's like this here. You cannot change that. Totally fine.
Yeah.
But you need to know these things, you know.
Yeah, you need to know that, and also it's a very systems are different. It's how do you say this? Yeah, Europe is
Oh yeah, it's
so
totally
opposite.
different.
Well, I'm from South America. It's
Mm.
Same. Actually, when I came here, I was like, oh, okay, this looks like South America, and like, I found my little place for a while. So yeah, for me, it wasn't the shock of timing wasn't that strong, but
Yeah.
I would say that I wouldn't. I don't want. I would say here is worst with the timings and stuff. But yeah, for sure.
No, of course. Every country is different, but still, it's like, yeah, I like to live in Indonesia. It's beautiful, perfect. There are problems, there are benefits. Like, it's like, in general, it's awesome, you know?
It is
Yeah, yeah.
awesome, and if you want to learn to surf or anything, it's beautiful place, and it's a very special place. I would say very special. I met amazing people, and someone is always very creative, expansive people. So it's like
Mm.
very special place for me at least.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like it for you too.
Oh, same. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
So that means now, if you look back, like the 10 years, for example, let's say, what advice would you give that person back in the days to do if you would do it all over again? Would you do everything exactly like you were doing?
It's hard to say. No, I would change it. Of course, I did a lot of mistakes on the, but
But you think you needed to do the mistakes?
yeah, for
Yeah, right?
sure. I was
Yeah.
like telling to my you can be in a week. I'm really analyzing everything myself, my actually everything, my whole life, and in a good way.
Mm.
And I was saying, okay, if this didn't happen to me, whatever the family I have, I love them, but it was hard to accept their thoughts, whatever, how they think. But if I didn't have that family, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Mm.
So what advice would I would give to 18 years old Maria when she started the journey and she started dreaming huge? Because in Paraguay, the biggest dream you can have is to have a house,
Yeah.
you know. And then I started to dream really big, especially because no one in my environment was doing that.
Mm.
All the people I see doing that, they were living in the US, or they were like doing all these things, or they grew up in a place, you know. With me was like, yeah, keep. I know it sounds so cliche.
Dream bigger,
Dream
Maria.
bigger, and also keep pushing and really trust on yourself, pushing, and also follow your intuition. Follow whatever you get them in your head. You get the feeling that you have to do the move or the jump. Do it. So the advice: don't worry that much. Yeah, don't freak out that much. Maybe everything will fall into place. And I say the last 10 years would be a little bit easier if I didn't have these big freakouts I was mentioning you about.
So no freakouts,
no freakouts.
Maria. Dream bigger.
Dream bigger. No freakouts.
Push harder.
Push harder.
And believe in your
Intuition.
intuition.
Yeah, intuition. Yeah.
Easy, you see? That's
Easy.
already a good advice.
It's
no?
already in motion. The fact we're saying it out, it's already happening.
Yeah, yeah.
This is helping me.
Right.
But yeah, for sure, I will say that. Yeah, I try to always fall into cliches, but cliches tend to work because they're true. So
At least there's a reason why
There's a
they are
reason
there, you
everyone
know. At
says.
least you can observe them or look
Yeah.
at them
yeah,
from
yeah,
your perspective, and then you can decide
yeah.
if it's for you or not, you know. Yeah.
So there's a reason. There's there for a reason. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I used to be so resistant of cliches. I'm like, "Oh, no, and now I'm like, yeah,
Yes,
come to
yeah.
me. All the good affirmations or all the sayings there, it works. So
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
totally. I mean, you know, on the opposite, if you always talk bad about yourself or bad in general or complain, things not getting better.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's
No.
like the opposite.
yeah, it doesn't.
So
get
why
better.
would you actually not choose the side of like, you know, telling yourself that you did a good job, you
Yeah,
know, or like saying like, oh, I gonna do it, I gonna achieve that, or I gonna do this and that, you know, as affirmation, like you said before.
well, for the brain, it's so easy to go to because your brain, there's a left hemisphere is protecting you from exposure of life.
Mhm.
So that side of the brain will always send you to bad thoughts to protect you, to not do it.
Yeah.
Understanding this for me was like
Mm.
mind blowing, and now I see this. I have still negative thoughts, of course, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you just have to choose. Okay, I'm going to let that go because this is not going to serve me. I know that's my brain is trying to protect me from everything. just even just doing this, I'm like, I don't know, just everything, you know, like it's trying to say, oh, yeah, maybe don't do it, maybe don't try it, maybe just don't do it. So I think as soon as you have a thought and it's after that thought comes scared, like a fear thought, that's your brain. But the first thought is actually you, whatever you feel inside. And me learning that changed my life. And now I'm practicing every day. Of course, some days I don't win with myself.
No, yes, yeah.
But some days, majority of the days, it really helps. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, so just be mindful if you get a thought that is scary or it's your brain telling you not to do it because it want to protect you. But just
That's the game, you know.
that's the game. So
That's
just
the game you're gonna play.
yeah.
Yeah. I think you need to understand few things and then you're gonna be fine, you know. But I think many people also, they don't really understand some things, you know, which is fine, you know. I also don't understand a couple of things, you know, so that's why, you know.
Oh,
Learning about that or learning about things you maybe want to change, it's just so important, you know, because if you don't know, you don't know.
yeah, you
right?
don't know, and also like for me, now I can understand. I think it's life something that now it's not the time. You're not ready yet. You don't understand yet what's happening, so you need to understand it first to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, it took ages, 10 years. So, and it will happen. I want to say I'm like, I'm 100%. I guess you will never be 100% all the time.
No.
But I'm very content where I am now. It took a lot of years. The feeling I have right now, I never have it in my life before. I feel like I'm floating.
Easy, that's it, you see?
Yeah.
There you go.
And people, my friends, my boyfriend, you're magnetic. Oh my God, amazing. I'm like, thank you so much. Oh my God, you know, it's like, yeah, I really feel like magnetic, but not magnetic, like in an egocentric. Just like you attract the good things.
Yeah.
And the good people.
Good vibe.
Good vibe.
Yeah.
So
Easy.
easy, not easy, but just.
No, you
push.
know how I say easy? I mean, we don't know each other so well, you know. But I say easy just like as like, all right, okay.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
I'm not, when I say easy, I'm not saying like it's really easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an
In a
English.
way of simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's because when I say that, you always like, yeah, not easy.
So sorry.
No, easy, yeah. Easy.
I understand.